Hey, yeah, hey, it's the boat crew, and we always winning. Hey, go against us, I don't recommend it. Hey, it's the boat crew, best up in the business. It's the boat crew, repping for the city. Macking on and off the field like Khalil. They hate on us cause we keep it too real. I'm talking smack like Phil Rivers in the field. Oh, you mad again cause we kept it real? Why you mad? Hey, I'm talking smack, I feel like Uncle Dave. Hey, I bring the pain, I feel like Derwin James. I could run and gun, I feel like Herbo down the lane. I feel like LT the way I'm stiff arming these lanes. We just wanna win, we just wanna win, yeah. Ay, we just wanna win, we just wanna win, ay. Putting on for the city, putting on for the city. We just wanna win, we just wanna win, yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Bolt Crew podcast. Dave Pele, Josh Pele, and Mario Heron. Mario's back with us after missing the last show. People very curious to know what happened to you, Mario. But
got shot.
Yeah, Jesus. We said you'd be back, and here we are. So here we go. Since the last time we all saw each other, the Chargers played a game. They played a game against the Rams in a preseason battle for Los Angeles, if that means anything. The Rams didn't play any of their starters. Chargers did play some of their starters. So again, when you talk about preseason games, we don't put a lot into it. We look for certain things, but we're hearing more and more where finally coaches and organizations are being truthful on what they expect from preseason or what's going on. And basically they'll tell you 99.9% of the rosters are already decided before practice even begins. Like they know what they're going to do. They didn't pick these players thinking who's going to come out and surprise us. And once in a while they'll get a guy that maybe they didn't expect a lot out of. But overall, the Chargers know what they're going to put on the field. The Rams know what they're going to put out on the field. The Chargers did play some of their starters, though, basically the majority of them to start that game against the Rams. And, right away, there's an injury. And you think in your mind, is that why you don't play the starters? So here's the deal. We'll get into QJ right off the bat, okay? Number one, and look, I'm trying not to make a joke about QJ because anytime somebody gets hurt, it's not funny. We don't root for the other team's guys to get hurt. We don't want our guys to get hurt. But good God, the very first play of the game, he doesn't catch a ball that, it wasn't a perfect pass, but God dang, hits you in the hands, you catch the ball. Then, shocker, if there's one way to QJ to go out is, man, deep ball. We talk about this all the time. If you want to say it was tipped, fine. QJ doesn't catch that one either, and he gets the crap knocked out of him, concussion, he's laying on the ground, motionless, and all that's scary. But it was like, QJ, you finally got a chance to start a preseason game, and let's see the new version of you in year 3. And it was the same exact guy that we've always seen, except this time he couldn't finish the series.
It's just poetic that he got hurt on a play where he dropped the pass. And like you said, he probably got tipped, and we never root for anybody to get hurt, no matter if it's the Chargers or another team. But that was just kind of like QJ fashion of a way that he would be going out of a game. The positive for me in this situation is we had 2 rookies that stepped up, Mario, and they stepped up in a big way. And the thing that was most awesome for me to watch as a fan is that they track the deep balls, right? We were saying going into this season, do we have anybody on this team that can track a deep ball? Obviously, QJ has a hard time doing it. Keenan Allen's not known for tracking deep balls or running routes that are deep routes. And Ladd McConkey's not really that type of player either. Can KLS or Trey Harris do that? And they did. They looked really good doing it in this past game. If there's better quarterback play, I think both guys could have had even better stat lines. I'm upset that QJ got a concussion. It sucks, but I'm also happy that 2 rookies stepped up.
I think that's the biggest takeaway from this game is that the rookies stepped up, and it was in the way that they did it. It was like you mentioned, pushing the ball downfield, because Justin Herbert, that was his calling card coming into the league, and that's what kind of made him kind of splash into this, and people fall in love with him and say he's such a good quarterback so he can push the ball downfield, and we haven't been able to do that the past couple of seasons. And if Trey Harris and Lambert Smith, Dave, can be pretty reliable in that factor and kind of do this, if they do this in the preseason game, they do it in week 1, week 2, and so on, then the Chargers are going to be in a pretty good spot. And what happened to Quinn Johnson, it sucks, brutal hit. Hope he gets better soon. And it just goes more to the fact, Dave, that, look, we put a lot of pressure on our rookies. A lot of pressure went on to Ladd last year, and he, I would say, outperformed what his expectations were. Now we kind of need the same thing to happen with Trey Harris and Lambert Smith if this team not only wants to be a playoff team, but wants to be a Super Bowl contending team in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things you mentioned there. Just staying with the receivers, Trey Harris had a very good game, and we wanted to see him have a good game. He caught 6 passes for 85 yards. That was great. KLS, he played okay. I mean, there was a drop in there that, you go, man, I wish you'd catch it because we already got guys on the team that can do that. What brings back to you, and we should expect a better year, for anyone saying, oh, it was rookie luck or they didn't know who he was. Look, you can focus on Ladd McConkey all you want if you're the other team. Number one is he knows where to be. We talk about all the time of sitting down in his zone, knowing where to be on a field, and how certain guys are very successful at it. Keenan Allen has been successful at it. Obviously, when you look at Travis Kelce, he's made a career out of it. But for Ladd McConkey, the one play where you say, I haven't seen Ladd since last year. It's good to see him. Dude, wide open, right? Wide open, 17 yards. And they're like, this is the difference of an established NFL receiver compared to the guys that we're watching trying to learn on the job. And you feel safe with that. You're going, anytime Ladd McConkey's in the game, you're going to feel safe that good things can happen for this team and they can push the ball down the field. It's the other receivers that we want to see catch up. And for Justin Herbert, hopefully he's able to work with those guys to get them in tune, ready to go. And that goes for the OC, that goes for the Chargers to win games. But overall, when you look at what the Chargers did, it wasn't, mind blowing with the starters in there. At the same time, the Rams went with all backups and guys, a lot of guys that won't make the team won't play. And if you're a Rams fan, you got to be pleased with what you saw there too.
You got to be happy as a Rams fan, especially that last drive with Stetson Bennett, who looked pretty damn good in this game. They're in good hands, whether they go with Stetson Bennett or Jimmy Garoppolo, whatever their decision is. They have a pretty good backup. When you talk about the Chargers backup quarterback situation, I'm all for Trey Lance. Like, as crazy as it sounds, if you would have told me that last year, what do you think about Trey Lance? I'd say no way in hell. The Chargers made him look terrible when he's with the Cowboys in the preseason. To me, I think he's won the quarterback number 2 job behind Justin Herbert. I think Taylor Heineke has not looked good in these games. I don't have zero faith in him. And Trey Lance isn't a guy that I have a ton of faith in either. But to me, he looks like a guy that can extend plays with his legs. He can make timely throws. And I love that he's getting this opportunity in the preseason. It doesn't make any sense for you to put in DJ Ukulele, as Dave likes to say. Just let these guys battle it out. The number 2 quarterback job is the one that matters. Rarely do you ever get to a 3rd or 4th quarterback during the season. Let's see who's going to win the second job, and I think it's Trey Lance.
Normally, I would argue Heineke because I'm a big Heineke guy. I'm on the record, but it's hard to deny the way Trey Lance has been playing, and you can't deny him that QB2 spot. I think it is his and his to lose if he does in this last preseason game. I don't think he will, but I feel confident, Dave, in that, if Herbert gets dinged up and he has to miss a week, that Trey Lance can be pretty fun to watch and can throw probably wrench into your game plan. Like, if Herbert gets hurt middle of the game and Trey Lance gets thrown in there, they're pretty different quarterbacks where you're going to struggle just to plan against them because him and Herbert are so different. I know we talked about how much we don't really like that. Like, the Ravens are famous for their backup QB plays similar to Lamar Jackson. And then there's other teams that are just 2 different QBs. We kind of have that here. But Dave, I think Trey Lance deserves QB2. And I think you should go for QB3. I think you should throw your name in
I would Trey Lance for me is my QB2. Look, there's a huge step down from Justin Herbert to whoever they're going to sign. I mean, just the way it is. It's one of the reasons we've ripped, backup quarterbacks in the past, whether it was Easton Stick, or Heineke, who's, been in the league 9 years now. Trey Lance is definitely the guy that deserves the position. Why not? I mean, he has great athletic ability. He's hopefully going to have time to sit there and learn on the bench to the point where maybe he becomes even a trade piece. But he has not lived up to what people thought he was going to be. He wouldn't have been chosen so high in the draft if he was the player that the Niners thought he was going to be, if the Cowboys were able to develop him and make him attractive to somebody else. Maybe the Chargers, find something in him. You know what it takes for these guys to always get recognized is for a backup quarterback to come into a game and lead the team to a big win when everybody wrote them off. That's how you get on the map. I mean, even Heineke was famous off of one big game in Washington, and that's it. And then you look at guys, who Chase Daniel ends up staying in the league forever because he had a big win, I believe it was against the Chargers, and then he got a couple other big wins, and it just kind of stays that way where you can make a pretty good paycheck being a backup in this league. But I don't see Trey Lance as a future franchise guy for anybody. And what basically opened my eyes on that was the game against the Chargers in preseason last year where he threw 5 picks. And you're going, man, how did that happen? I mean, Tony Jefferson was an assistant coach 2 years ago, and he's having a field day against you. So how does that happen? And then, Trey Lance is Trey Lance. Here he is on his third team.
I want to talk about something in the comments here. I just want to point out that the way that teams manage the game clock at the end, I don't think is going to be how they do it in a regular season game. I think they just want to see guys make throws, read a defense. If the Chargers wanted to run the ball out, I believe they would have done that. I think they wanted to just see Trey Lance throw the ball around the field. If you watch Justin Herbert at the beginning of this game, he's just tossing it up, trying to have guys make plays, which I love that as a fan. Give them opportunities to make this team. I don't think the Chargers are doing a lot of things in these preseason games for what you're going to see in the regular season in terms of run schemes or exotic blitzes, things of that nature. They just want to see guys get out there and play. And one guy, Mario, that I'm tired of seeing get out there and play is Jasir Taylor. He had a bad preseason game. I understand it's the preseason. How much do we need to see of Jasir Taylor before we say, hey, let's give other guys opportunities, guys that are trying to make this team like Nico Reed, instead of guys like Jasir Taylor, when we already know what they have? I'll give you a quick reminder. He was in on the 38-yard touchdown with the face mask penalty. He was also right there on the big play by Stetson Bennett at the end of the game, where he watched the guy make the catch just a few feet from him. It was a bad game overall from Jasir Taylor, and I think the Chargers should move away from guys like this because they have better guys, I believe, that are trying to make this team that are either rookies or first or second year players. You got to get rid of guys like Jasir Taylor.
Look, I understand, and it's the preseason, and everyone gets a chance, and it's do or die for a lot of these guys. We've seen enough. Taylor, thanks for coming. Thanks for playing. You look good in the Charger blue, but it ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a door. Enjoy the California sun for a little bit longer. Maybe someone will pick you up. I think his Charger chapter should probably end. And like you said, there's other guys on this roster at the cornerback position that kind of deserve a better chance than him. And, it's a position of need, but, like, we have talent at this spot. Young talent that doesn't have a lot of experience, but still, there is talent there. So let's just move on from him. And Dave, you missed the biggest thing with the backup quarterback thing. You got the endorsement deals now. You got the insurance companies. You never seen those commercials where it's like Case Keenum eating a burger and he comes sprinting in, and you're like, that's what he looks like. Or like, if they did not have a name there, I thought it was just some random white guy running in a truck.
That's where the NFL sets it up. They never want you to take your helmet off. They don't want to know who anybody is. They don't want any personalities. It's all about the shield. Okay, so for me, looking at, preseason, and you go, okay, can the offense do certain things? Because we all know they're running a bland offense. To me, the defense should always shine. The defense should always shine in these. And I'm not saying that blitz packages and stuff like that. I'm saying, you aren't going against top-tier talent if you're a defensive back, if you're a linebacker, and you're going, this is a chance for me to get big-time numbers. And yet you don't see it at certain times. What my point is in this, can we win the battle as far as putting pressure on quarterbacks once the season starts? And so we've spoken about, different guys who are available through trade. Big name guys, like some of the best in the business, are available and not happy with the teams they're with. Here's the deal. Do you have faith, guys, in what the Chargers can do once the season starts when it comes to getting the quarterback with the personnel they have?
No, I don't. And the reason why I don't have a ton of faith that the Chargers consistently get to the quarterback, because I don't know if Kyle Kennard can do it at an NFL level. To me, Tully doesn't put it together on a week-to-week basis, and Khalil Mack is getting up there in age. I think this unit right now, Mario, is decent. I'd say they're about average in the NFL, but if you were to add somebody else like a Trey Hendrickson, things would be crazy, right? Michael Parsons, obviously, things would be insane. I just don't have a lot of faith that the guys can do it consistently. Bud Dupree is on the back nine. If Bud Dupree plays 2 more years in the NFL, I'd be surprised. And Khalil Mack, I don't think has more than 2 years himself.
Well, that's the worrisome thing, right? Where Mack gets hurt, you have a guy that's, just as many miles coming in and filling his place. And you go, yeah, there's experience, but there's also injury prone. Like, what if he gets down too? And then now we got to go to who's on the depth chart now? Tremont, Morris, Brosh. That's a lot of names, but we got to rely on this guy to kind of get pressure to the QB. I think it's a solid group, Dave, but like it's a group that if Matt goes down, they're suffering a lot. And this Trey Hendrickson thing, at first I thought it was just going to go away. But now, Dave, I mean, it just seems like it's getting worse, and worse. And I don't think, what's your confidence scale that he's a Bengal by week 1?
You know what? Here's what my advice to Trey Hendrickson and Micah Parsons be: do not play week 1. Do not play. Do not play week 1. Do not play week 2. Both of you have made enough money where you can put your feet in the ground, because it's not going to get better. You know what it is, right? I mean, we can all read it. If this was a relationship with a girl that any of us were going out with, we'd say, she's not good for me, you know?
Yeah.
And so what you do is you say, I'm not going. And what he should do is Trey Hendrickson is on Saturday night before the first game, he should send the picture of Kawhi Leonard to the Bengals. And that's it. I'm not showing up. And Micah Parsons should do the same thing. Now, here's the deal. I think Trey Hendrickson might actually sit out and go, I'm not showing up. Micah Parsons, I think, is about to make a really bad business decision and show up. But the Cowboys have seen it. This is even before your guys' time. But when the Cowboys won their first Super Bowl, Emmitt Smith decided, dude, I want more money. I'm not showing up. And it was the three guys were always Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, and Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt Smith says, you guys rely on the run to create the pass. I know I'm either the number 1 or number 2 best running back in this league. This is when people used to run a lot more. And Emmitt Smith said, I'm not showing up. And for 2 weeks, he didn't show up. The Cowboys were defending champs and looked terrible. And they came begging Emmitt to come back and gave him everything he wanted. Micah Parsons should do the same thing. And Trey Hendrickson should do the same thing. The deal with Trey is, you know, he's been in the league a long time, and everyone knows the Bengals are the biggest joke organization in the NFL and have been since they started. Dude, get out. And I'm asking the Chargers, and I don't ask the Chargers for a lot, please make a trade for him. Like, honestly, go get him. You know, you definitely have a weakness. This is the biggest fear of this entire team. If you don't go to a Super Bowl because you can't create a pass rush, and I'm not sure they can. I mean, Bud Dupree's surprised he's in the league alone. I mean, we aren't the only ones that think, yeah, Bud Dupree's still here. You know how many teams in the league are shocked Bud Dupree is on an NFL roster right now? It's amazing. And Khalil Mack, everyone knows that, hey, Khalil, we're lucky to get another year off of him too. I mean, the tread on the tire is really thin with Khalil Mack right now. We all love him, but he's just not what he was. How can you expect that much from a guy that's been in the league this long? There's just no valuable pass rush on this team. And you have 2 guys that you can make a trade for. I think the Cowboys would be harder to deal with. I think you got to give up more to get Parsons. I would 100% go for Trey Hendrickson.
I would too. And a lot of people are probably saying, well, why would you trade for Trey Hendrickson? He's already 30 years old. Is he actually going to make the Chargers defense that much better? And my answer is yes, because he's the only person on that Bengals defense the last couple of years that is worth anything. And he's made that defense like the worst defense in the league to still a really bad defense, but he actually makes huge plays for them when it matters. And for this Chargers team, I think they would raise them from a top 10 defense to a top 3 defense. I think he would make the Chargers defense phenomenal. For those of you counting at home, Trey Hendrickson has had 17.5 sacks the last 2 years. Before that, he had 8 sacks and 14 sacks, 13.5 sacks. He's very consistent when he plays. To me, he's a top 5 defensive player in the NFL, and I think it's worth the asking price. The asking price is probably going to be a top pick in the draft and another defensive player as a swap. Would you do it, Mario?
So that's a big thing that was reported, right? Is that they're looking for a young defensive guy. Yes, because we have the cap space to do it, and it's a desperate need, like you said. And this guy is dependable. If the guy goes out there and plays his ass off, and he does it the whole freaking year. He doesn't sit one play out. And I think too, on top of this, NFL.com released like the number of teams there'll be possible trade destinations, and the second team that's on that list is the Las Vegas Raiders. And my Lord, would that be the worst nightmare if the Raiders landed Trey Hendrickson with Max Crosby? I mean, your quarterback is going to have 1 second to throw a football, and then he's going to be on his ass, especially with the tackles we have, like a possible the big liability. We can't allow our enemy to get that spot, especially if you look at the other teams too in that mix. Like Patriots could be in that mix, Bills could be in that mix. The Panthers, shout out to them for sneaking in there. I love that. I was like, what the I was cussed. What the hell are the Panthers gonna do with Trey Hendrickson? You know, dude, big fan of Dave Canales, but maybe we're a couple years early on making a move like that.
Let me tell you something. If I was the Bengals, that's the team I would deal with, would be the Panthers. I would send him to Carolina. Number 1, you'll have no chance to win. And 2, you know it's going to be a high first-round pick. I would make that move if I was Cincinnati. That's the trade partner. The Raider one is crazy. Like, literally, if you had Max Crosby and Trey Hendrickson on the same line, dude, I'm watching games just to see what it looks like. I mean, that is a crazy tandem right there. It's something else. I'm looking at in the comments right now, and Shirley says send Junior Colston. Dude, that's exactly Shirley I was thinking as well. Send Junior Colston in a first-round pick.
You need to do better than that.
They're going to want that. I think this is exactly what they're going to ask for. They're going to ask for at least this. Thule and a first-round pick. Because they don't have Shamar Stewart. They don't have Trey Hendrickson. Thule and a first-round pick. Are you trading Thule with a first-round pick? I don't think the Chargers would ever do that.
I would.
I would.
The Chargers won't. Yeah.
Chargers won't.
They won't. They're in love with them. I would. And remember, that first-round pick, guys, should be like an early second-round pick. That's how it should play out if we have the season we think we're going to have.
This is going to sound very pessimistic, but I think the Chargers won't do it for two reasons. One, Joe Ortiz isn't the type to trade picks.
Nope.
And two, with Rashawn Slater's injury, I think it changes a lot of things. I don't think the Chargers would be willing to make this type of trade with Rashawn Slater out right now. I think there's a lot of pessimism around the Chargers offensive line. How many guys on the Chargers offensive line can you trust? You can trust Joe Alt. You can trust Mekhi Becton. We think he's just coming back from injury, but we think we can trust him. And then we have 3 huge question marks on the offensive line. Do you make a trade when you have 3 huge question marks on the offensive line? I don't know.
I think too, cross-sport reference, but Chargers kind of are adapting the Oklahoma City Thunder strategy of we're not going to sacrifice anything now for 1 year of success. Or like 2 years success. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to accelerate this process or this escalation that they're on. They're just going to go, no, we're going to take it step by step. You know, and that's frustrating for a fan, especially if it doesn't work. Or, you know, you don't get the Super Bowl in the end. But if you do get the Super Bowl in the end, it's pretty. You mentioned the Cowboys, Dave. You know, that doc's on Netflix right now. It took a couple years. They didn't just come together right away.
Look, it's a different story. The Chargers have a veteran star quarterback. The Cowboys did it when they had a rookie quarterback in Troy Aikman. Here's the deal, man. You make the
Don't
move.
need to poke holes in it.
Look, the NFL is not Major League Baseball. We aren't building a farm system and a foundation and opening a window for 10 years. God dang, the average player plays like a year and a half. We got to go for it right now. You got the veteran quarterback. I mean, how much of a veteran does he have to be before people start saying he's on the downside of his career? It's time to make these moves. I tell you what, and you can thank your stars, man, that you aren't related to Joe Ortiz, because if you were Joe Ortiz's kids, he would say, write me out that Christmas wish list. And then as soon as he handed it to him, here you go, daddy. You ain't getting any of this crap. And he'd throw it right in the trash, right in front of your face. He's never making a trade. Joe Ortiz is never reaching out to make things better when it comes to, hey, you're fine with what you have in the house. He's the one that tells his kids, you just play with the old toys over there. You're fine. We want some new toys. We could have life a lot better. Let's go out and make a move. I mean, God dang, you wouldn't even spend the money that you have in the bank account. Let's go out and make a move, because nobody believes this Charger defensive line can put pressure on a quarterback. I'm sorry, how many goddamn corner blitzes can you sit there and put together? You know, and I'm doing the best I can not to swear on the show, and it's killing me.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like I said, I think the Chargers edge rushers are average at best. And people want to, argue that and say, hey, we got Khalil Mack. We got the older version of Khalil Mack at this point. We got Thule, right? Thule, like I just said a second ago, hasn't put it together on a consistent basis in the 2 years he's been in the NFL. I think Thule might be the best edge rusher on the team, but we need him to do it every week. We need him to make plays in the run game. We need him to get in the backfield in the passing game. And then Bud Dupree, honestly, Mara, what do you expect out of Bud Dupree this year? 3-4 sacks? Right? That's what you should probably get out of fourth edge rusher.
Yeah. I mean, like, if that. And it's just to the point as well. What happens with one injury? Because this has been a problem with the Chargers, right? What happens when one guy goes down? That was a bad thing in Telesco's era. We're like, hey, the first line's great, but second line, woo. And then it's really bad. You have no one to trust outside of that. That's an iffy one. And Bud Dupree, too. I mean, 6 sacks last year, 6.5 the year before with the Falcons. It's doable for him. But again, it's another year older. Backing up a guy that's even older than him.
Anyway, I would love to see a move made. I see people saying that they want Micah Parsons. Look, Micah Parsons is a guy that we would take to. It's, the price tag is going to be ridiculous. Jerry's going to try and make it where it's impossible to make a deal with the Cowboys because he doesn't want to get rid of them. And Jerry's in the point where he's saying that, I'm going to sell a bunch of number 11 jerseys. He's going to be a Cowboy and he's going to be miserable, but he's going to be under my thumb. That's what Jerry's trying to create there in Dallas. He doesn't want to get rid of Micah, so he's going to make the price tag ridiculous where nobody can trade for him. I think your best chance of getting someone's through Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah. I mean, not going to happen. I love that we're talking about it. It gives
I know,
us hope.
it's true.
It's just not going to happen.
I'm spitting into the wind. You know, it's not going to happen.
Could be
Very
worse.
frustrating.
Daniel Jones could be a quarterback.
Let's get in the quarterback talk around the league. I find it a little bit fascinating.
What do you want to hit first? We can get Daniel.
Well, you
Jones.
brought up Daniel Jones. Let's start. We'll start Indianapolis and we'll move around.
I mean, yeah, look at the long string of quarterbacks that have started over the years. You go from Phillip to Matt to Carson Wentz to Anthony Richardson, and then now you're at Daniel Jones. That is a team that is stuck going absolutely nowhere. I think maybe Daniel Jones, the ceiling he gets you is 8 wins. The floor he gets you is 3 wins. So that's where the Colts are at. I think best case scenario for them is if they go full tank and, somehow get a top 3 pick and they go get the kid from LSU. I think that's your best. Garrett Nussmeier. I was blanking on his name. That's the best case scenario for them, but they're cooked right now. A lot of sad day in the back home chats for myself. Lots of fellows sad today.
All right. So, I mean, here you are. You draft a quarterback. You're all excited, or at least the Colts fans thought we're getting another franchise quarterback because the Colts have gone from Manning to Luck to no luck. And so here you have Anthony Richardson, who's been a disappointment. This is supposed to be year 3 after barely playing the first 2 years. And now Daniel Jones, who's washed up, who's now with his third team, becomes the starting quarterback. The writing's on the wall that this guy's NFL career is about done, unfortunately. And Josh called this when he was drafted. Dude, he's not ready for the NFL. He hasn't had the reps. He's just the opposite of a guy like Bo Nix, who played 577 games before he went to the league. Anthony Richardson didn't have enough time under his belt to develop the way he should have to become a fantastic NFL quarterback. And who knows, but athletically, might be one of the best pure athletes in the league. He just can't play that position right now because of a lack of experience. I've never seen a guy jump in the league where his timing is that bad and basically can't, number one, feel the read of a clock once the snap has taken place. 2 is doesn't know how to avoid contact and doesn't know when to run and when not to run, to the point he can't stay healthy, and he's not good when he is healthy. So, I mean, no love lost for the Indianapolis Colts. They're just another AFC team in the way. But Anthony Richardson, Josh, you called it. This guy was not going to be a successful quarterback. If Daniel Jones takes your job at this point, that's embarrassing.
Like you said, I don't feel bad for the Colts. They asked for this. How could you draft a guy that really didn't prove anything in college? Just because he's an athletic freak doesn't mean he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. Bad teams make bad decisions, right? The Indianapolis Colts do this. The New York Jets do the same thing with Zach Wilson. Then you have Trey Lance. Our guy gets drafted after playing like 3 or 4 college games in his whole career.
Like 3 more than me.
And you wonder why these guys don't pan out. It's confusing. If I was the Colts, I would probably try to get Stetson Bennett. After watching Stetson Bennett against the Chargers, I would probably see if we can bring him over to Indianapolis to step in. I think Stetson Bennett is definitely a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson at this point.
I think also the weird thing about the Richardson was here's a guy that, like you said, didn't play a lot in college. And the whole thing in the NFL goes, he just needs a lot of reps. And what they do, they don't play him. Well, he gets hurt, but then they don't play him. They take him out, they bench him. And you're like, this is a guy that needs the reps. Like, take the indifference, take the rough moments with the good ones that he's going to have. He needs to be out there. And now you're stuck with it. Yeah, Daniel Jones. Can I throw a crazy trade out there for you guys that, this comes with working in Chicago radio right now? But hear me out here. Tyson Bagent is just popping off. Maybe if I'm Indianapolis, I just make a call. And I go, what does the 7th round or 6th round pick give me? Could that give me Tyson Bagent just for something? Bridge guy. Steichen's not a bad coach. He's just in the worst situation ever.
He sucks.
Who?
Bagent's, but he's probably better than Daniel Jones. He's probably better than AR. He's better than what you have.
But what does he get you? He doesn't get you anything more. He gets you probably the same exact results, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the flip side is you get to sell something more to your fan base. There's something more to sell. He's marketable. He's good with the media. His dad's
arm wrestling king.
Arm wrestled on steroids, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's Indianapolis' problem at this point. It's funny. I'm going to ask this question seriously, Mark, because Mario's in Chicago. People aren't paying attention. Mario's moved to Chicago from Washington, D.C. is Caleb Williams not as good? I mean, because I've been a million practices where the backup is better than the starter, but it's never going to happen because it looks bad for the GM. It looks bad for the owners paying all that money, and they'll sit there and eat it and let that guy who's the backup sit there forever, even though the players know the backup's better than the starter. I'm not just talking about the quarterback position. I've seen it at a bunch of positions. But in Chicago, in reality, are you hearing that he's better than Caleb Williams right now?
No, that's not it. What has been said is Ben Johnson, when coming in and establishing his offense, kind of threw Caleb into the fire. Like Caleb kind of got everything right away, like quick. Like this is the whole playbook. We're gonna throw it all at you, learn it, and know it like the back of your hand. The fact of the matter is Tyson just understood the playbook a little bit quicker than Caleb did. That's end of story. That's just like what happened. And the second unit, because of that, looks a little cleaner when running the plays. But when it comes to Caleb, like day to day, the video of him having that rough passing thing and throwing like a temper tantrum at it was just like a bad moment. Everything outside of that, he's been looking strong. And the connection to Rome and him has been insane. DJ Moore's looked exceptional, and Colson Loveland looked great. If you saw the Bills game this past weekend, Caleb looked very, very, very good against them. It was the second stringers, but he still dominated. I don't think it's that big of an issue. I don't think there would be that big of a controversy. I do think the biggest problem with Caleb is that his backside is going to be a problem because they don't have a left tackle right now. A guy that could be their left tackle was a 6th-round pick from Canada that just started playing football. Now that's bad.
Hey, do you remember when Caleb Williams asked for ownership of the team that was going to draft him?
That wasn't true. That was proven not true. That was a rumor. That was not true.
Just want to throw it out there.
People don't forget.
No,
as the 4th best team in the NFC North, I hope the Bears have a good season, man. I hope things turn around for them. So Joe Flacco's
second.
We'll see. So Joe Flacco is going to be the starter for Week 1 for the Browns. I don't think that's surprising to anybody. If I was Shadur Sanders, I'd be very thankful that I'm not the starter Week 1 for the Browns. Does anybody remember who the Browns played the first 6 weeks of the year? It is absolutely insane. You would want to stay. If I'm him, I'm wanting to stay away from that schedule for the first 6 weeks. Let Joe Flacco get beat up. He's probably going to get injured in one of these games. He's going to be taking so many hits. And I think Shadur Sanders is going to step in. Dylan Gabriel made some weird comments about Shadur in the last game. I'm rooting for him. I hope Shadur gets his shot. What about you, Dave?
Well, I predicted on the show that Shadur Sanders would be the starting quarterback for the majority of the season. I didn't say when he was going to step in, but I said for the majority of the year. So it's for the Browns, just for people who want to know, they host the Bengals at the Ravens, host the Packers at the Lions, host the Vikings at the Steelers. Those are how the season starts for them. Look, man, we make the line all the time because we aren't the ones that came up with the line, but everybody's heard it a million times. If you're a football fan, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. Well, the Browns have 8. So, I mean, what does that say? I mean, you have a bunch of guys that every quarterback in the room thinks they should be starting. Hell, Kenny Pickett thinks he should be starting. Joe Flacco thinks he should be starting. Shadur Sanders thinks he should be starting. Gabriel thinks he should be starting. The fact that you have these guys that all believe that they should be the guy given the opportunity to start Week 1, and they're all in the same quarterback room, there's your hard knocks right there. I would just like to see a camera on what's going on there because shots were fired by Gabriel. Like, it was bizarre. Like, you went after Shadur Sanders and thought you were going to win, and you came off just as kind of a punk. Unless you're an Oregon Ducks fan or related to Gabriel, nobody took that the right way. And he had to backtrack his comments. I mean, how often do you see a rookie quarterback backtrack his comments about another rookie quarterback? It was just a bizarre deal. And for the people who missed it, basically, he made a comment that Shadur is just about entertainment. And then he has to sit there and backtrack. By the way, if Gabriel ends up being a star quarterback in this league, I don't know anything about anything. I just tell you right now, I see Kellen Moore. That's what I see. I see, maybe because he's left-handed, but I see Kellen Moore. That's all I see out of Gabriel, and another guy that's older than he should be leaving college.
That's nice that you said you see Kellen Moore. I don't see anyone.
Well, I'm just saying, dude. Can you believe where he was picked and everything else? And I mean, just even they talk about the eyeball test, dude. He's short. I mean, there's not a lot about him.
Yeah.
There's not a lot about them. The age thing always gets on me about these quarterbacks. And I know I talked about Bo Nix, playing all these snaps for Oregon also. But it's to me, Bo Nix was kind of groomed as a little kid to be where he is now. I mean, his dad was a coach, basically got his master's through Auburn, then got his doctorate at Oregon and been in the league a long time. Stetson Bennett over here with the Rams. I mean, a lot of issues. The only guy I know has been in college for 12 years, never got a degree. I mean, there's crazy stuff with a bunch of quarterbacks in this league. But if Gabriel becomes a star starting quarterback in this league, I swear to God, I'm just going to stop watching the NFL because I don't know anything about the sport I've been watching my whole life.
I'm with you. I think everybody would be surprised if Dylan Gabriel was a star NFL player or even a starting quarterback for a team. I think everybody would be surprised. All right, let's move over to the comments right here. First one comes from AK 499. He says, okay, to all my fans, I have a hot take next week regarding the Chargers passing offense. I don't give a damn if Jesus and his angels call the plays. All right, we'll put a pin in that. We'll get to that next week when AK comments it.
Is AK the only guy that does podcast teases? Like in radio, we do teases all the time, and we have them hold up through the break. Is AK the only one that does a tease for a podcast for the next week?
He is.
Okay.
Don't we want Jesus to call the play?
Yeah. I want Jesus and all of his angels to be involved with the Chargers. We need help.
Yeah. Come on.
We need a lot of help.
That's why we bring the damn Bible out. Shout out Kurt Herron. He's got fucking 50 of them.
Jeez.
Sorry.
Status Pimp, $2. How old were you when you had your first beer? I don't know the answer to the question. I can't remember. Maybe like 15. I tried it maybe for the first time. I'm not a huge beer person in general. Sorry. What about you guys?
I'm not a big beer guy. I think I was 15 probably.
Really? I would have guessed, Mara, you're a beer guy. I had no idea.
I mean, I'll stay to the hits. Like I'll be like Miller Lite and Mick Ultra. Like if you're like, let's get some IPAs, I'm like, I'm all set. Thank you. I don't want freaking 300 calories in a beer that's 20% alcohol. Like I'll just, that's not me.
That's not me. That's funny. It's funny. You know what's crazy? Before we started the show today, I just came from, actually I was at Josh's old high school, Tony Jefferson's high school. I was giving a speech and we were talking about growing up and everything. And I said, in my house, I was a rule follower and I made my kids be rule followers. Like my neighbors would give beer to their kids all the time. 14, 15, want some beer? They just let them drink in the house. And it didn't matter if Josh was 2 weeks away from being 21. Unless he was 21, I never let him drink alcohol in the house in front of me. You had to follow the law. If you were going to get arrested for it, you weren't allowed to do it. That was kind of the rule in our house. So if Josh had beer, it wasn't because, I approved it. That's for sure. But I'll drink beer with you if you want to drink beer. But I'm not like, I got 10 beers in my refrigerator right now that have been there since probably last football season. And then Josh's friends were here a couple weeks ago. They emptied about the whole thing out. But by the way, they told Josh, we just had one beer each and went to bed. I'm like, really? Because that whole top shelf had about 30 of them in there. And then all of a sudden it's just gone. But no, my dad, I think, gave me beer when I was like a sip of it when I was like 8, 9 years old. And that was it. I'm just not a huge, I won't drink by myself, put it that way. Not a big drinker by myself.
Yeah. I'm not a big White Claw.
Playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not a big White Claw guy. Let's make that clear too.
Dude, I did have 3 high noon watermelons on Friday night.
High noons are good. I like
high noons are good.
I skipped dinner and just drank those and woke up a horrible headache, man, next day.
What are they called? It's like the surf sides. Those surf sides that are out and about right now. Whew. I mean, those will get you. I mean, that's talk about 15 deep and you don't really know what's going on in your life. That's happened to me this summer a little far too more than I like to share, but those are nice.
Dude, this is kind of a weird transition. Just the word beer got brought up. So we're going to transition to Madison Beer, who is rumored to be dating Justin Herbert, which I'm one of those people that really doesn't care. Like if she's not going to help the Chargers win games, then I don't care. Is it cool that he's dating like a really good looking girl? That's awesome. I'm happy for him. Justin Herbert seems like a good guy. I personally don't care that much. Do you guys care about who Justin Herbert's dating and the fact that it's Madison Beer?
Dude, I want my quarterback dating a really hot chick. I do. I 100% do. The one thing that I'll tell you, and Josh did some broadcasting as far as, in the stadium right after a game. He did NFL stuff with me. Is you'll see NFL quarterbacks, a lot of them don't have that cool factor. Like a lot of college quarterbacks have a cool factor. A lot of NFL quarterbacks are just dorks. Am I right, Josh?
Who are you thinking about right now? Like, who's a
even
dork?
Even Tom Brady was a dork, right? Peyton Manning was a dork. The guys, honest to God, Phillip Rivers just a family guy. But like when you think about
Southern guy.
But he was a family guy. But I'm talking, it's not Joe Namath stuff. Like you're thinking, hey, like Joe Namath did a commercial in the 70s, and it was for Johnny Walker. And the commercial was, I love my Johnny Walker. I love my women blonde and my Johnny Walker blue. And I was like, all right, that sounds like what you think about. You know what? I'm gonna put the fur coat on. I'm going to leave here with about 5 girls. And that was a hell of a game.
Who's the coolest quarterback in the NFL? Who has like the cool factor right now, you think? Like Joe Burrow? Is that somebody that you think has a cool factor?
See, Joe Burrow to me dresses like what would Joe Burrow dresses like he should be in Zoolander. Like the way Joe Burrow dresses takes the cool factor away from me.
I know people just point to him as like Joe Cool is like his nickname. I don't know if you thought he was
not.
like a cool. I'm just asking, who do you? Is there someone
He's
that
the
jumps
kind
in
of guy
your head?
beat up at the skate rink. No,
He's got too many. I love Burrow, but he's got too many wristbands too. You can't be rocking like more than, I'd say 2's as much as you should go. He rocks like 5. I think Lamar Jackson. He's probably the coolest one.
He seems cool.
I tell you what,
He seems really funny. He has some good one-liners if you look him up.
I'm looking at the comments. I'd go Jalen Hurts. I'd go Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, both of them are physical players too, but like Jalen's never affected by anything in the media. He's just a cool cat, man. Has a good facial hair.
Strong jaw, right?
Yeah.
Quarterbacks seem to have a strong jaw. It's a big deal.
You know what? It's funny you say that, man. I agree with Josh on this one. There's something about the good jawline and athletes.
Okay.
You go, okay, I feel safe. And then you look at like Matthew Stafford, you're like, I don't know, man, pan face. And then you look at Julian Sain, the quarterback, Ohio State. I'm like, I don't know. You got to work on that jawline. Like, I want to see the good jawline.
They got to get that stuff that they sell on Instagram, right? Like you chew on it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Jared Goff could use that.
Yeah.
He could use. I'm not gonna lie, hand up. I bought that one time, pretty hammered.
So, how long did you do it for?
Threw it away as soon as I got it.
Why? Hurt your mouth?
No, I just was like, what the hell was I doing? You
got a good jawline.
I was just like so mad at myself. I just threw it away.
Yeah, I think we're all good on the jaw. We just don't have a starting quarterback job, but we're good. But I want my quarterback to have a good jawline.
I'll raise you a D3 lacrosse starter. I'm gonna fuck you.
All right, we got.
What's the rant?
Yeah, what's the rant?
Oh, we're done with all the questions already. All right.
I got quick out. Remember?
Oh, I didn't know.
Socks!
I'm
Shoot.
sorry.
You got to go already, right?
We can go 2 more minutes. So
all right, real quick. 2 quick rants. One is on Sunday, I was sitting there coaching a baseball tournament, and I'm sitting there walking from first base to the third base box to start coaching. And there's this girl in a bar. There's a bar above home plate, Mario, and a mom. And she goes out here just losing her mind, cussing like crazy. She goes, "You want to talk about a real effing a-hole? I'll give you a real effing a-hole." And I'm like, "Ooh, this lady's pissed. Like, who's she so mad at?" She's had about 3 pitchers before our game. I look up, and dude, she's pointing right at me. She goes, "That's the biggest effing a-hole in this whole city." And she's pointing at me. And all of San Diego, I'm the guy. I'm like, what'd I do? And then I told Josh, I felt like that guy in that video that's sitting in the back seat, the fat guy. And when the guy drives up next to him, he goes, "Yeah, you big fat piece of S, you big piece of bacon." And the guy's like, "What did I do? I'm in the back seat." I felt like that guy. Like I just took a stray. And she cussed me out in front of hundreds of people. I walked back to my side, and my coaches are like, what did you do? I go, "I didn't do anything. I didn't fight with an umpire. I didn't fight with a coach. I didn't yell at a kid." And then she completely cussed me out in front of everybody. The only thing is I can think of is because I'm a Dodger fan and the Dodgers just swept the Padres. Is that I'm active on social media that way. But man, I got cussed out like you wouldn't believe. All right. That was a little crazy. That was a little nuts. And last thing I'm going to say is this, Mario, I know you got to go. There is something wrong in San Diego. Okay, Mario, this is the craziest thing about this city. Planes land on the freeway here all the time. I mean, you have a better chance of a plane landing on your freeway while you're driving a car than winning the lottery or getting hit by lightning. It is insane how many times it happens. And almost literally, I missed it by an hour the other day. Right on the 805 freeway, a plane landed right on the freeway. Happens all the time. I am done with people that just say, I'm a big rich guy and I want to start flying my own private plane. Dude, leave it up to the airlines. Enough with this. It's way out of control. We got a major problem in San Diego with people crashing planes on freeways. It happens, man. I'm not kidding, Mario, 9 times a year. It's happened as long as I've lived in this town. I've lived here more than 30 years. People crashing airplanes into the freeway. It's insane.
That sounds fun.
It's bizarre, dude. It's so crazy.
New life goal.
I'm so sick of it. That's it.
New life goal. Go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.
Big sweep.
Be nice if we can win in Colorado and catch a goddamn fly ball. Anyway, we'll get on out of here. We're back on Thursday, 1 o'clock Pacific time. We're aiming for Mario Heron, Josh Ballet. I'm Dave Ballet. We'll see you in about, 47 hours. Take care, everybody.
Take care.